I don't know.
Can you help people even if they don't understand their true identity?
It depends, first of all, what a person means by the soul. Atman.
So maybe we can start from a beginning and start from your encounter of yoga. And
Well,
what
yoga is quite explicit on the subject of human identity, who the person is, what is a human. We have a body, but you're not that body. You have energy, but you're not the energy. You have a mind, but you're not your mind. No, you are Atman. This is who you are. Which is beautiful, but it's very difficult since Atman is unknowable. But what is Atman? Atman is a child of Brahman.
and how
Brahman is unknowable.
so how does one even begin to understand that?
Pardon me?
How does one begin to understand that one is Atman?
Well,
And
what does Brahman do?
Hey there.
Just in
Oh,
time.
Doing the filming here, huh?
Mm-hmm. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for the note.
Okay. You'll have a couple people coming through shortly.
Okay.
All right.
We'll interview them. Get them
Yeah,
all
that's
ready for
always a-
you.
All right. Sounds good. Okay.
Brahman creates. Brahman's creation is had no beginning and no end. Brahman creates one universe after another, according to yoga. There never was the first universe, there will never be the last one. Since I am, according to yoga, a child of that God, I also have a power to create. Except that God's creation is unlimited and mine is definitely limited, but what that limit is, I don't know. Nobody knows. Unless you bump into it. Then you know. Does that answer your question?
So how did you encounter the teaching of yoga?
Pardon me?
How did you encounter the teaching of yoga? How did you start in the path of
Oh,
yoga?
Master found me, that's all. Master was supposed to teach a European. He taught 14 Indians, but he had a 15 and number 15, the last one for him was a European.
So that was given to that was a task that was given.
Yes, his master gave him that. And his master told him that, so he said that this was 1937. And 1937, people in Europe already knew there was going to be a war.
Mm.
So he said, so my master was telling me this story. And he said, well, so I thought, and his master had ascended. So he said, if my master knew there was going to be a war, he never would have told me that. So he's sitting, meditating, and something makes him open his eyes. He opens his eyes, his master is in front of him. And he said, of course I knew there was going to be a war. Pack your bag and go.
That's exactly why he told him to go.
That's right.
So who's your master? Is his name known to other Indians, or do you?
I don't think so. I don't know. At least I haven't met anybody.
But your master's master is very famous.
Pardon me?
Isn't your master's master very famous?
I don't quite.
The teacher of your teacher.
Yes.
Isn't that Ramakrishna?
So?
Okay, so he is very famous.
Right.
So what was the name of your master?
Say again?
What was the name of your master?
I may not use it.
Ah, okay.
I don't know why. I don't ask questions like that. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
The reason why for me it is very interesting as an Indian is that Ramakrishna is a household name in India. And so in the Indian
Yeah, I know.
tradition, to be in a lineage of a particular
Mm-hmm.
guru is an important thing.
Yes, absolutely.
So asking about the masters is to understand.
Right, but the point is, I am not supposed to teach.
Right.
That's what my master told me. This is not my job. So that's why I'm not supposed to mention his name.
And, so then there was the war going on.
Oh yeah, right. When he found me, I was at that time. Poland had already been partitioned between Germany and Soviet Russia. And I escaped. I was taken prisoner by the Soviets, but I escaped from there. And now I'm in France. I knew France was also in the war. So I joined the French Air Force, and I was stationed at Lyon-Bron, and the base was too small to house all the new officers, new pilots. So we were allowed to live in Lyon, in the city. So I said, well, okay, I don't like hotels, never wanted to stay in a hotel. We paid fantastic money. It was the best paying Air Force in the world at the time. I couldn't spend all the money. And so I got a cab, we were driving, and I can see Pension Gigère on the building. I said, sounded good to me. So I said, okay, pull over. He did. And I went in there, introduced myself. Of course, I'm in uniform, I have pilot's wings. So Madame Gigère was very impressed. And she said, well, unfortunately, we do not have a room today, but if you come tomorrow, I'm sure we'll have a room for you. So we did. That's what happened.
And so then you were
And the first day, part of the deal, part of the money was dinner. Lunch, breakfast was typical European breakfast. There was, in the corner of the room, there was a stand with about 15, 20 bottles of different wine, and a coffee urn, and a bunch of coffee cups. That was breakfast. But dinner was fantastic. All 30 of us were sitting there around a big table. And I was, my place was at the end of the table. And across the long table on the other end, I saw a man who vaguely reminded me of my father. I needed to look at him again. He didn't look like my father. He spoke perfect French. But everybody left. The dinner was over. They had dates, movies. There wasn't much of a war going on in those days. That was December 39. And I said, that man sat there at the table,
Mm.
didn't go. So I was curious about him anyway. So I walked over there, introduced myself. He asked me to sit down. Sat down, and we talked. Had a wonderful time just talking about it. Nothing.
Mm.
Nothing in general.
So he was an Indian man.
Oh yeah, right. But he said, so then he asked me what I was doing the next day. Told her, same thing. Oh, we'll meet tomorrow. So we met, and we started meeting like this regularly, as long as I was stationed at Lyon. And then, when I told him my group is going to be moved in the air defense of Paris, I said, "Oh well, okay. Before you go, then let's get together. Let's see." And he told me something I knew very well from the reading. My father was practicing yogi, and they made the magic words, "Don't be afraid. I am going to instruct you in yoga." That's what he said. And I never wanted to be a yogi. I wanted to be a fighter pilot. That's what I was, and I was happy. But so that's what he said. And I said, okay. I was delighted to. And I told him, I said, all right, I understand enough about yoga. So I know that I cannot stay as a fighter pilot. So I'm going to resign my commission. And
I think you're heading.
I'm going to resign my commission, and I'll drive an ambulance for the rest of the war. And he said, "Oh, no. You cannot do that. That would be too easy." Because I knew I couldn't kill. And I said, "Look, I've already killed."
Right.
And he said, "No, you're going to do it the hardest way there is." Why? He said, "You did take an oath to God to do what you've been doing, right? You cannot break an oath to God. You have to do what you're doing. So you're going to learn yoga the hardest way there is, by breaking just about every law."
So he said you have to continue to fight.
Sorry?
He said
Oh
you
yeah,
have to
I said
continue
you
to
have
fight.
to continue to fight.
No. Hi.
I think I have to wait out here.
Oh.
This is the waiting room, right?
You're welcome to it.
Okay.
And
Stay
Bev
here.
is right in there. Is that who?
No, it's not,
Okay,
actually.
sorry. Her door's open. Thank you.
There's a bathroom that you want to go in if you want. Small.
Okay.
Did she say there's a back room?
There is. She said there's a small back room.
Oh, that little back room.
Mm-hmm.
She is very small.
Oh, okay. Might not work.
Oh, sure. If you would, why don't you take a look at it?
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
Stefan, take
I
a
will.
look at it.
Just hit the button on that one.
Now I know where the Linksys is.
I think it's too small.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can keep telling us your story
We can always edit out things which are interruptions and stuff. So
Pardon me?
we'll always be able to edit out if there people come in or there are interruptions. We can edit it later on, so it won't be a problem.
Oh, are you recording it?
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh my God.
The tapes just keep running.
I thought this was a camera.
It is. It's like moving camera.
Right.
So then what happened? He said he's going to teach you.
Oh, no, you're right. So he said, all right, so you're leaving. Next day, we're going to leave to go to Paris. And he said, don't worry, I'll find you. And because we were changing, war in France didn't last very long, but it was a strange war. Hello, come in.
Going to Bev? No?
No. Did I get the wrong day?
No. Yeah, you're welcome to sit. We're actually.
Can we go through? Are you here? Are you here to see what's about?
I'm also expecting a lady at 1 o'clock.
might end up being to be continued. We'll see how it works.
Right. Anyway, we were changing bases, changing airport. Gosh, a different one every day. He always found me, always. How he did this, I'll never know. Somebody waiting for me?
For you, yeah.
The lady?
Uh-huh. She came through for you.
You need to excuse me.
That's fine. Thank you.
Dr. Lockman? I have your paperwork. That's what I was trying to insert. Okay.
Now I'm free.
Good. So we were in Paris where we were having the teacher.
Yeah, right. So the defense of Paris was the first stop, but then we were changing fields almost every day.
But this must have been like high security information where you went the next day, right?
No. War, that's in France. Remember, this is France. Oh no, no secrets.
Oh, okay.
No.
So he just.
Besides, when we moved to Paris, here I am in Paris, and 2-3 days passed, and we were pretty busy because the Germans were already approaching. So we were flying a lot, and I'm sitting in the officer's mess, and orderly comes and says, "Sir, there's a gentleman to see you." Says, "That's my master." Came in. How you found me? I never asked questions.
How he found you, and also how he got into the officer's mess, because probably.
I don't know how, but he did. Oh, he followed me all the way throughout France. The French Air Force didn't last very long, so we moved to England. I joined the Royal Air Force right in time for the Battle of Britain, and we're stationed near London. And the same thing where we flew like crazy, three missions a day. And here I am sitting in the evening, sitting by the fireplace, reading a newspaper or something. Again, the guy comes in, the gentleman to see you. So that's what happened.
And all this time he was.
Yeah, all the time.
Teaching you.
And then when we came to the Atlantic, what was it, La Rochelle, where we came in to the last base on the Atlantic coast. And I decided, most people went to North Africa, to the French colony. And I decided to go to England. So I said goodbye because my master was there. He said, okay, goodbye. Don't worry, I'll find you. And he did. He found me. Yep.
And then what happened after?
Oh, well, the war in England lasted until the end, right? That's a lot of time. But he would show up at the, oh yes, then when I was too old to fly combat for the Royal Air Force, I transferred to the United States Air Force.
Ah.
But they didn't care about my age.
Wasn't there a small problem in between those transfers of being shot down?
Oh yeah, but that had, oh God. War was on, man.
Tell us about the time you were shot down, please.
Oh boy, oh boy. Well, I was still in the Royal Air Force at that time. And we started flying offensively, making offensive mission across the channel, but we couldn't go very far in. And at Cap Gris, we were had combat, and I got one, and there was another guy. I got on his tail, but the fight was going on. You know, lots of flying around aircraft. So. My number 2 was really beautiful shot. I was getting on his tail and coming very, very close. And then I pressed the button, the trigger button, and it was an air-driven guns, you know, compressed air. So it was a psst, nothing, guns didn't fire. I must have been hit, and I didn't even realize that.
Ah.
So, but I was so close, I just couldn't let go of it. So I just rammed him, and cut off his tail with my propeller, so that was my propeller. I couldn't fly anymore. I turned around and was very close, just across the channel back to England. So I crashed because I had no power, no engine. It was very difficult for me to make a good landing, but so I didn't, and cracked up, got hurt.
So you didn't bail out?
No, I didn't bail out. No. I bailed out only once and throughout the war, but that was much later.
And so then were you injured?
Pardon me?
Were you injured?
Oh yeah, I was hit very bad. But so that's where I was wounded.
And your master found you in the hospital and taught you how to not be paralyzed?
Oh yeah, no problem there.
What was
My master never left me. Well, he did because the war was almost over.
Can I ask you to place that card here and I'll have it for you? Your card
Oh,
there.
my card, it doesn't matter.
I'd like it
Oh.
out of the picture. Yeah. Okay.
So what was the prognosis when you were injured? What did the doctors say?
Well, my own personal prognosis was I got to get well in a hurry because the war is going on.
Right.
That's all I knew. So I did. I healed reasonably fast, I guess. And before I knew it, I was back on flying status. Didn't take long. Yeah. Yep.
Were the doctors not very confident of your healing, or were they?
Oh no, it was a matter of confidence or something. They did whatever they could to fix things up so the man could get back in combat. That's all. Which is all right. I didn't mind. I just hated to be laid up. I wanted out as soon as possible. And then toward the end of the war, we already knew, because Germany, we were flying over Germany, bombing Germany, German towns. And my master said, well, I'll say goodbye, but when the war is over, I want you to come and see me. Come for postgraduate study. That's what happened. But.
So then when the war is over, you went?
Yeah, that's right. Well, the war, see, I wasn't really officially a member of the U.S. Air Force. They needed experienced pilots, so they let me fly. And I flew. They didn't pay.
Oh.
I didn't get paid. I was getting paid by the king, because I never resigned my commission from the Royal Air Force, but they didn't know. Since I was not flying, they didn't care whether I was sitting somewhere at a desk or not. That's what happened. So that was easy.
And so then you spent some time with your master. You went to India.
Oh, sure, yes. Yeah. That was delightful.
So how long did you stay there?
9 months.
9 months.
Anyway.
So one of the things I've heard from you is how to use faith, and I was always interested in the story of your recovery also, because you had explained how that was an application of faith, and I'm trying to understand how can we apply the power of faith in our everyday lives.
Well, you just have to. Faith is something you either have or don't have it.
But it can be boosted.
Yes, it can be boosted by practicing, by leaning on faith. Oh yeah, my faith is powerful. That's why I'm pushing 100, but I don't know it. My body doesn't know it.
So
Yes.
you told me one time you had made a decision to be 100, and you made a plan. Tell us about
Oh
that.
yes, well, the life plan. No, my father taught me how to plan my life. I was 15. We're in the right place.
You're in the right place. You've turned it into an impromptu recording studio. But
I
feel
see.
free
I'm
to-
trying to figure
Feel free to sit here. Actually.
I can move that.
Oh, no, that's fine.
no.
I can stay.
Aha.
Do would you like to come back with lunch? Sorry. Ordinarily.
There you go. Clear it up.
You want to come through you too?
Ah, good. Get it right. Say again.
So we were talking about your life plan.
Well, life plan. My father was a practicing yogi, and he taught me how to plan my life. I was 15 when he told me about this. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. So he showed me how to do it and just turned me loose. It took me a year to come up with a plan. But at 16, I had a plan. And I already, of course, I knew what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a fighter pilot, so it was easy. Going to military schools, everything was pretty much automatic. So that was it.
And in the plan, you said you decided how long you're going to live.
Yes. I wanted to live to be 94.
Huh.
Why 94, I don't remember.
Okay.
But it was, I don't know, not 100. When I met my master, that was late in 39, he was asking me about my life. And I told him that, yeah, I have a plan. How long you're going to live? 94. He said, nah, 94 doesn't sound right. How about a nice even number? 100. I said, okay, you're the boss. Oh my. Yep.
Why did you accept studying Raja Yoga? You said earlier in this interview that you hadn't wanted to, hadn't intended to.
No.
You wanted to be a fighter pilot, and you were
That's
happy.
right.
So what happened
right.
when you were talking with him?
I
that
don't know.
Made
I don't know what made me change my mind.
But it was something about meeting him.
Yes, it was something about it. Of course, I knew, I already read everything he was talking to me about Raja Yoga. I already knew.
You're on.
Yeah. So something magical happened, or you switched, or you changed to being a student, a sincere student of something much more important than the war.
No, nothing was more important than the war.
This became, it seems,
War.
more important.
War was war. It was, I just had to, I was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been trained for it anyway, best part of my life. So I knew I was an experienced fighter pilot. I was trained properly, so I was supposed to wait for the war. And the war came soon enough.
The end came soon enough?
No, the war came
Oh,
soon enough.
yeah, you were ready when it came.
Yeah, I was absolutely ready.
Did your ability to work the controls of the airplane change
No.
with your understanding of
No,
yoga?
no,
Mm-hmm.
not at all. No. Controls are controls. No.
Do you,
No, my attitude changed because I knew I didn't want. I knew I had a long life ahead of me. You know, so I wasn't afraid to die. Used to get in all kinds of troubles, but only because I was not. I was careless sometimes, I would say. In the until when I finally got my own command, then I couldn't afford to be careless.
wow. Was that in the English system?
Right, in the Royal Air Force. But in the American Air Force, sure, they let me fly, they let me lead units into combat, squadron to combat. That was a wonderful deal. And I could do anything I wanted to do. Had a nice quarters, tiny little house, all all to myself, very nice. So, but money, not very much money, because the British didn't pay very well. They paid peanuts compared with what France paid for the same position, the same job. But they didn't charge me anything for food, had free food, or anything I wanted, free for bar, drinks, anything. Cigarettes, I smoked in those days. Oh yeah, cigarettes, I had everything I needed over there. That didn't cost me anything. So the few bucks that the British paid me every month, it isn't not, it was a strange thing. It's a little short than 28 days, I think, is their paying amount. But that was okay. It was 30 pounds, I think. That was all right.
So what happened then after you came back from India?
Got married. Simple.
When did you get your degree in psychology? And from where?
From the University of, oh God, what is the name? I'm not thinking very well.
Starts with an S, I think.
Pardon me?
Is it something like Sorbonne?
No, France. Sorbonne is French. It's Paris. During the war in France, I lived in Quartier Latin because they didn't have enough quarters. We were in the air defense of Paris, but there was no quarters on the airfield. Villa Coublay. A very nice place, but it was a short drive, so we had cars to pick us up, And I knew Paris. I used to be in Paris before the war. I knew France pretty well. So I thought, Quartier Latin, my favorite part of Paris. Yeah.
So then, the degree that you received,
The degree was, this was after the war. I was already married when I got back.
What country did you study psychology at?
Germany.
In Germany?
Right. Frankfurt. University of Frankfurt. Frankfurt am Main. Simple.
And then after you got your degree in clinical psychology, you started to what? Work one-on-one or?
Oh yeah, sure.
Seeing patients?
Yes, absolutely.
In the United States?
Right, New York City.
New York, wow.
That's where we lived at the time.
And when did you begin integrating yoga therapy into your...
It was quite a bit later. In the 70s, 1970s.
And how did that come about? How did you decide? Did you find that you needed to use?
No, I realized what yoga had to, what I knew about yoga, had to offer in treating people.
What does it have to offer?
Pardon?
What does it have to offer?
A better knowledge of a person. You know? So I had a good approach, still use the same approach.
And the yoga gives a better knowledge of the person to you, or gives the patient
No, in
better
general,
knowledge?
in general,
Oh.
yoga.
Uh-huh.
Yoga, right, yoga sees a human being the most beautiful way imaginable. As I said earlier, we started talking, who are you?
How does yoga see a person?
Well, I have a body, but I'm not my body. I have a mind, but I'm not my mind. I am Atman, the soul. This is who I am. What is Atman? The child of Brahman, God the Creator. That's how it works.
And when patients connect with these ideas, you find that it
No, no,
helps
they
them?
don't have to connect to these. That's not what I teach people. I don't talk to people. But I treat them in a different way.
How does this different way work?
You want to start a practice?
Yes, the idea of the person that you meet with and you helping them find how they're going to give.
That's right. Simple.
That idea, can you talk or
Mhm.
speak about that idea?
Well, you said it right. You expressed it correctly. What else can I tell? Can't add to it.
Well, when I was working with you,
Mhm.
you did tell me the ideas, and I did connect with the ideas.
Mhm.
And a few moments ago I started to say when patients connect with these ideas, and you said they don't. You don't explain the ideas. You
That's
just
right.
you use the ideas to treat the whole person.
That's right.
I was working with you. You did tell me the ideas.
Well, remember, you're a different person.
Right.
I don't treat everybody the same way.
Right. Of course.
There are always exceptions to every rule. As a rule, yeah, but there is a rule which I developed myself, but I don't follow it all the time. If I don't have to, I don't follow it. It was easy for me to work with you for this reason, because you're a different man.
Okay.
You're not just an ordinary U.S. citizen.
Right. Well, so it feels good to hear you say that, and I understand what you're talking about, but I still think the technique is useful to discuss. I know it's very simple to you,
Right.
but there's more
Yeah.
to say about it.
Sure, there's
Everyone
more to say,
comes
but
in and-
I am not particularly comfortable with discussing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been
But-
applying it myself.
Pardon me?
I have been applying it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helped me see people's actions from the perspective of they are trying, if they're not already, giving. They're trying to be a giver.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I see people's actions and I resist what I'm seeing. I don't like what I'm seeing. I want to change their behavior because it's not very intentional, not very giving, not very loving.
Right.
And during those moments, I also try to and succeed at seeing the giving side of what they are and what they're doing, even though they're coming across as being difficult. And that helps me sometimes change my perspective on the situation.
Of course. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't treat people as though I knew how they worked. I
Mhm.
don't really know how they work. I don't know how they think. This happens. My basic approach to people is pretty much the same. I want to find out how they think, what's going on, how they operate. And if there is an improvement I can offer, I do that. But it's not the same with every person.
Right.
So what has it been like for you to live the life of a yogi? I know after you took up your practice and...
Well, it's the best way to live. Simple. Really.
Well, what does it mean to live the life of a yogi?
Well, you always have to remember who you are. Always. And act accordingly.
Once you know who you are, why do you have to remember it?
You can't forget. That's why.
Is it an effort to act accordingly?
It's unforgettable. When I first discovered and assimilated it, I studied yoga in all the languages that we handled at home. My father had books on yoga. So I read them all because I was a hungry, avid reader as a kid. Read everything. So I knew a lot. But I also know that you cannot eliminate asking questions. You have to ask questions to find out about the person, about the client. And according to what I find out, I can adjust my approach to solving their problems.
So a yogi remembers who he is and acts accordingly?
Mm-hmm.
Can you transmit this understanding of who a person is? Can someone work with you and come to this understanding and assimilate it?
Not very many people.
Why is that?
I don't know. Human nature, I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
And what is the role of detachment?
Well, it gives you proper perspective. Knowing who you are. Pardon?
When you say that not everybody, I always used to have this question, which is it that many are called and few are chosen? Or is it that everybody is called but not everybody responds to the call, or is it
True.
that only
That is true.
few are called?
That is true. No, is everybody called? I don't really even know that. I don't know that everybody gets called. No, but many people get called. Now, do they respond to it properly or not? Varies with the
So
person.
that's really the question, is whether we respond.
Mhm. Yeah.
So what is the role of a teacher in this?
I thought I just outlined it.
Yeah. you have when you said that you meet with people and everyone's different and you try to find how you can help that particular person.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's an art to that, isn't there? It's not a
That's right.
science like you learn in...
I wasn't taught that in school.
Right.
No.
You were taught the science part of it.
That's right. So, and even doubtful science. I wouldn't call it a science. My professor, I'm sure did consider that a science, because he was a Freudian. And I do remember my father corresponded with Freud, but my father never met him. But he had exchanged letters, and very often during the school year when we lived in the city, my father had friends coming in, and they usually were psychologists of one kind or another. So they discussed it, and I do remember Father reading Freud's letters and his own answer to it, you know. So I didn't think much about Freud. But when I met that my professor was a Freudian, so I had to do it. If you excuse me, I need to be excused for a few minutes.
Don't. Yeah, I guess you can stop it.
We switched.
See that?
I send Stefan back to being a cameraman.
Yeah.
See, one of the fun and interesting parts. There's many places where this footage could be used, but one of the things I had in mind was to do like a series about yogis, and this could be interesting for an American audience, well, also for an Indian audience, where I know a lot of, for instance, young Indians are not, are not very interested in what their tradition has done.
Oh, I know.
And so it's partly to get inspirational stories together for them, where they understand the power of what has been given, and that they start to experiment and research it.
That power is absolutely fantastic. I don't know if I don't think I talked to you about it, but my wife was ill for a number of years and was running up expenses. But even after she died, the bills come in. So I know, but I need it, and I need to work, which is fine. But I can only use that office with Beverly, half the time. I work really less than half time. But I do need the money, and it's unbelievable. Even to me, I keep saying, "My gosh, no! Money is coming in from people I worked with long time ago, many years ago. Money coming in."
And you spoke once of how you visualized your need, and it would manifest based on what.
Oh yeah, right. But visualization is just that.
Right.
I don't call the bank.
Right.
I just need the money. But it's okay, yeah. So however that works, I have no idea how it works. How people I haven't seen in years And gosh, I didn't know what the hell was going on in their lives.
Huh.
What happened yesterday? That happened yesterday. What's yesterday? Yeah, right, yesterday. A young woman, she's the wife of a man with whom I worked, who was many years ago, 20 years ago. The kids are grown up and everything, and I never stayed in touch with them. They were very nice. We parked company, friendly, and so on. She said she was staying. Yes, and I worked with her mother also. Very often I have family members coming after, one after the other, and even her mother, with whom I talked, I think twice, about some problems she had. Her mother sent me a card with $100 bill inside. You know, things like that.
Yeah, just spontaneously.
Yeah, right. Now, is it spontaneous? No, I don't think so. There's causality in it somehow, but what it is, I don't know. How it works, I don't know. Other than what I said.
So then you were, when did you move to Seattle?
Let's see, we bought the house, must have been 1960, I think.
And when I met you, you were actually living on a houseboat.
Pardon me?
When I met you, you were living on a houseboat in Lake Union.
No, I had a boat, but it wasn't a houseboat.
Oh, okay. I thought
It was a beautiful sailing boat, very fast, very nice. And yeah, I was practically living there because I enjoyed sailing, so every moment I had, I would go there. And sometimes on a weekend I would spend the whole weekend. But the boat was livable. Because we had, I sold it just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
The boat was beautifully equipped, had a good kitchen, lots of storage space for food and stuff.
And you were taking it out till just a few years ago.
Pardon me?
You were sailing it just a few years ago, right?
Yeah, a few years, about 4 years.
Well, because
I quit sailing about 4 years ago because it was too much.
right.
Too much time. I was needed home more.
So 4 years ago you were 93. How old were you 4 years ago when you quit sailing?
Well, you figured out 93,
Right?
right? No.
Is that incorrect? I'm trying to do the math here.
No, figure it out. I was born in 1910.
1910.
Right.
So yes, 93. And how long were you flying till?
Pardon?
Till when were you till what age did you fly?
I flew until I had a very bad landing. I was so ashamed of myself. That was 12, 13, 15 years ago.
15 years ago. Okay. So that's still, you were in your 80s when you stopped.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just for the record, since this is really amazing footage from a master who understood how to work with faith, I figure we should acknowledge that right before we go to the next scene. The next scene will be us using this footage and referring to it, actually. So thanks for being there Dr. Gladych, and thanks for now being on this channel so we can refer to you. Thank you.